Welcome to CVC Interviews. My name is Ivy2, your host, and today we're joined with Kris McKelvie from Habitat for Humanity North Central Connecticut. Welcome, Kris. How are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. I've learned that the Habitat has been here since 1989, serving our communities.
That's correct.
Can you tell us a bit about Habitat's mission and what you do to serve our communities here?
Absolutely. So Habitat for Humanity's mission is to build homes, community, and hope, which is a very broad way of saying that we pride ourselves on building safe, stable, affordable housing for local families in this community. Our affiliate serves all of Hartford County and half of Tallinn County. We share Tallinn County with our friends at Eastern Connecticut Habitat for Humanity. So we serve 7 towns in Tallinn County, providing both affordable housing and revitalizing existing properties that need repairs for elderly, disabled, and lower income folks.
Okay, so those are generally the communities you serve.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you get started with Habitat for Humanity?
Personally, after college, I joined the AmeriCorps program. They placed me with Habitat in Hartford, Connecticut, and I just started working there basically as a volunteer for a year, you know. Got to swing a hammer, got to be out on the job site. I loved it. They offered me the opportunity to stay when my service term ended after a year, and that was 18 years ago.
Wow.
So I've been with Habitat for 18 years, primarily in construction, managing their construction department. And it was just last year that I was offered the opportunity to step up as the new CEO.
Wow, well, that's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Before we head to the CEO, I saw that you had volunteered with them in Guatemala.
Yes.
What was that like?
So Habitat for Humanity is a national organization, but we have all these little affiliates, you know, so we focus on our service area here in Connecticut. But you have the opportunity to engage and travel with habitats across the globe. And so I've been to both Guatemala and Vietnam on Habitat trips, and it's a fantastic opportunity to not only get your hands dirty and make a difference in a community, but to see what housing looks like globally. And what we in the US think of as stable, simple, decent housing is very different than what people think of that in Guatemala or Vietnam, where it is often, you know, brick walls and a tin roof. But the concept is the same in that having shelter is so crucial to our safety and our survival.
Yeah, and that's something that all humans can relate to.
Absolutely.
So as that relates to your background with construction, you recently led efforts for zero build homes. Can you tell us what those are?
Yes. So zero energy ready home certifications is what we strive for on all our new builds. And that's a fancy way of saying that we're building the house as energy efficient as possible. So it's using the least amount of energy necessary to heat and cool the home. So that means it's relying less on fossil fuels. They're mostly all electric. And so if you add solar to the property, then you're zero energy. You're kind of canceling out your energy usage by generating what you need from the sun. So what it does is it allows for these families to be in a really well insulated, comfortable home, and it greatly reduces their utility bills, thus making it more affordable as well.
That's incredible.
Absolutely.
Are there other similar sustainability efforts that Habitat is doing at the moment?
Yeah, the biggest thing in construction is trying to figure out how you can eliminate waste as much as possible. If you've driven by a construction site before, you've seen the number of dumpsters out there just full of all the excess materials. So part of it is thinking about the design so that you're eliminating as much construction waste as possible, and then using your design in such a way that long-term for the family, they're going to benefit the most from the products and materials in the house that are stable, durable, that won't have to be replaced all the time, and that will lead to that energy efficiency.
Oh, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
So now tell us about your new role.
Yeah, so this is a big change for me. As mentioned, coming from the construction background, I'm used to being on site, chasing after contractors, having fun working directly with volunteers. So moving into a C-suite position has been complete whirlwind, I would say. It's very cool to see things at a higher level, to see all the different components of our organization. It's a bit mind-blowing how much we do, how many areas we focus our attention in. So where I used to just be in the sort of the silo of construction and that physical, tangible building of the properties, we have restores, we have our family services who help in selecting the families for those homes and teaching them and educating them. We have our fundraising and development side of things, and we have our volunteer engagement. And so there's all these different components that make us a construction company and a retail store and a fundraising nonprofit initiative. So it's overwhelming, but in the best way possible. It makes every day very exciting.
So how did you hit the ground running? There's so many things.
Oh, yeah. So basically, my predecessor, who had been at Habitat for 20 years, she guided me through the process as she transitioned out. So thankfully, I wasn't just walking in completely blind.
Right.
We have a very engaged and supportive board of directors. So the board members have also stepped in to help share their expertise and their guidance on C-suite leadership. And I've had the pleasure now of the colleagues that I used to work alongside, sitting down with them and asking, what resources do you need? How can I help you? And teach me about what you've been doing for the last 18 years, while I've been over here. So it's really been a great community building moment.
That's incredible. And has there been anything you've seen that you want to focus on in your new journey as the CEO?
Absolutely. I think one of the big areas that I think we need to shift our attention to is advocacy work around housing in general. So affordable housing is a hot topic right now. It's something that we've heard many of our political leaders speak about, and it's certainly a need that anybody right now who's either trying to purchase a home or even find a rental property is seeing the shocking cost of housing. And so it's beyond just us physically building spaces that are affordable and sustainable for families, but it's for fighting for regulations and access that allow for programs like rental assistance and other opportunities that can diversify our housing market.
Right. So speaking of opportunities, you just recently built Burnside Hope in East Hartford. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that project was really exciting. So we just completed 10 homes on Burnside Avenue in East Hartford. And that was what's called a cluster build. So it's one piece of land that was owned by the town of East Hartford and had been sitting vacant for over 20 years. And the town and the community around that wanted it to be single-family home ownership. They had experienced large apartment buildings on that through the 70s and 80s into the 90s, and they didn't feel like it was a good fit for that neighborhood. And so the town worked with us to come up with a plan where we could fit a community in this funky little shaped lot on Burnside Avenue. And so we built 10 homes there. They're all zero energy ready. We just closed back in November, had a big celebration to close out that project. And so now we've literally created this private drive into a little neighborhood of Habitat homes that serve 5 families. And it's just an example of how one kind of odd, forgotten about lot on a main street in a town could be turned into a vibrant community and affordable housing for families.
Right, that's incredible. Are you planning to do anything similar in Talon County, or do you have anything active happening?
We would love to be doing something similar in Talon County. The biggest struggle right now is finding access to vacant land or vacant blighted properties that need repair. So that's where this opportunity to kind of speak to the community is very helpful, is if folks are aware of vacant land or property that might be coming up that could be potentially developed. We love talking with local town leaders about property that maybe the town has acquired and is looking for what they can do with it. And I think there's often a misconception around affordable housing that if you are open to the idea or you're promoting it, that they're going to come in and sort of bulldoze a community and put in these massive buildings. Affordable housing takes all kinds of shapes and sizes, and our specialty is single family homes. And we work very hard to develop homes that will match the neighborhoods that we're building in.
Right.
And so if you haven't had a chance to see the Burnside Avenue project, you could go on our website. It's a great place to look at photos and see. So it's not so scary or theoretical about what we're doing.
See it in like real life in the picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
And humanizes it as well.
Exactly.
So since if you're not building, what other initiatives are you doing here in Talon County?
So one of the biggest initiatives here in Talon County is our Brush with Kindness program. And so that program helps existing homeowners who are elderly, veteran, disabled, low income. that need some kind of critical home repair or accessibility repair that would allow them to stay in their home. So they're on a limited income and maybe the roof's leaking and they need a new roof and there's no way they can front $10,000, $15,000 to put a new roof on. Or they are disabled and their bathroom is not designed to be accessible and they need a whole bathroom remodel. So we help work with those families to find contractors to complete that work for them. And we offer at minimum a 0 interest loan to cover the costs, to kind of spread those payments out without the pressure of having to front that money up front. And many times we find sponsors who will help to step in and pay for part of the cost as well, lowering the overall expense.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yes.
That's really needed work too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so many people, especially our veteran community, is hesitant to ask for help. They pride themselves on figuring it out on their own. And I think that's part of what I really appreciate about Habitat and all of our programming, whether it's new home ownership or rehab and revitalization programs, is that we're here to offer a hand. We're not trying to give away anything for free. We are working hard as a community to provide the resources and to find ulterior ways where people who want to do that repair and pay it off on their own can do it in a way that works for them.
Right, like a path and hope.
Exactly, yes, absolutely.
So you have spent many years as a volunteer managing volunteers. Can you tell us what a day is like on a build?
Oh, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. So most of our volunteers are first-time folks. We have a lot of new faces every day. A lot of folks who come out and volunteer, it's their first time stepping onto a job site. And there's often some intimidation around the idea of like, I'm not a construction worker. You know, I've
Me
never,
too.
Yeah, I've never,
Yeah.
operated a chop saw or something. And that's what's really exciting and welcoming about a Habitat job site is we're not expecting anybody to come in knowing anything about home building. We have an incredible staff that's there to teach you and train you. We provide all the tools and materials. You just have to show up willing and eager to help. And so we will walk you through whatever the task is for the day. And that's what's exciting too, is you're part of the process from beginning to end. So depending on what day you happen to show up on the job site, you might be framing a wall, or you might be hanging drywall or installing cabinets. So it runs the gamut of all the processes necessary to build a home. And so the best part of being an employee on an actual Habitat job site is you see the excitement in the volunteers when they realize, oh, that's something I can do. Something as simple as like swinging a hammer. People show up and they're kind of like pushing a hammer, pushing the nail into the wood, and you kind of show them easy, simple steps of like, this is actually how you swing the hammer, this is how you can position the nail. And by the end of the day, you've got yourself a professional framing crew. So
that's incredible.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm still nervous to hang a mirror with a nail in my house. So I might need to come over to these build sites. How long does a typical project take?
It varies depending on how many we have going on. It can be in as little as 6 months or as long as 12 months or more. So it depends on the size of the project. So for the Burnside 10-home development, for example, we started just having conversations with the town and kind of dreaming of what that could be at the end of 2019. So 2020, of course, was a rough year for all of us, but 2020 to 2022 was like brainstorming, designing, figuring out how can we turn this property into a community. And then in 2024 is when we physically hit the ground running and started building. And so in a year's time, basically a year and a half at most, is when we had volunteers on site, foundations going in, and that project, 10 homes were completed in about 18 months.
Wow, that's incredible. And it shows like all the lead work that you did just to get there as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Is home building the only way to volunteer?
No, actually, you can get involved in a lot of different ways. We have 2 restores, one in Vernon. You can volunteer at the restores, helping to unload trucks, get merchandise out on the floor. You can also volunteer at special events. We have different events going on throughout the year. Actually, in Vernon on April 19th, we're having a fundraising event at the Spare Time Bowling Alley in Vernon. So you can come out and either participate or help man a table. So there's all kinds of ways you can get involved. And of course, we have ambassadors, is what we call them. And we get to teach those folks all these fun different areas of Habitat. And they can come out on the site in the morning and give our 101, kind of explain to the new faces that come out what Habitat is. And they can get involved more in the advocacy side of things as well. So we encourage folks to reach out.
Why does this matter to you?
Oh, it matters to me for a lot of reasons. I mean, the biggest one for me is I've always personally been somebody who likes that tangible aspect of like really seeing the results of your work. And there's nothing better than coming out for a day and hanging drywall, and at the end of the day, you see you've finished a whole room. You know, like that tangible result is fantastic. And then that cumulative result of building a home and getting to attend our dedication ceremonies, where you see these families who have been part of this process from the beginning. They've been out building with you, sweating alongside you, and to see that relief in their face, to see their kids run through the house and fight over which bedroom they're going to get. That is so rewarding, because you know that that impact is not just for that family, but this is going to impact generations to come. They have this asset now that they can build from, and a strong, safe, stable place where they have as their home base. And as somebody who's had the privilege of having a strong home to grow up in and a stable space to be, I mean, it alleviates so much discomfort in your life when you know I've always got this place to return to.
That's beautiful. And I had no idea that the families were also part of the build as well.
Yes, yeah.
Like when the construction side.
Yeah, so that's part of the home ownership side of our program, is when we know that we have a build coming up, like when we have the 10 homes on Burnside, we hold an applicant information meeting where folks can come out, learn about, and apply for our program. And we actually have one coming up in later in April for our next builds coming up in late 26 into 27, 28. And so our homeowners have to apply for the program. Because these homes are sold, they are a zero interest mortgage. So many people think we build houses and just give them away. This is not that. The homeowners do have to purchase the home at a zero interest mortgage rate. So we help sit down with them and review their finances to make sure that they can afford this affordable mortgage, to see where we can help educate them and improve their credit score or help them get their finances in order. So part of the process is they have to put in 150 volunteer hours, including 50 hours of financial literacy courses. And so they have to complete all of that before we can move forward with the closing at the end. So it's a partnership. It's a relationship that we're having with the family, where yes, they have to come out and physically be part of building their homes and the homes of other families in the neighborhood.
Oh, that's incredible. And it's so much more in depth than you just imagine. You just think it's the home and someone gets a home, but you're building up a family, really.
And you're creating a community. I mean, literally in the sense of Burnside, where you can have 10 families working together who are going to live together. But even when their houses are spread out, it's creating a network with the community of volunteers that are coming in to build. So as a homeowner, you're meeting the local small business or corporation that sent a crew out that day, who are going to be able to drive by and be like, hey, I helped put that window in for you. And as a homeowner, it's really cool to see your house go from a vacant lot to existing. And it really helps homeowners conceptualize. You spoke earlier about hanging a mirror. If you're going to hang a picture on a wall, well, now I know what they mean when they say find a stud, because I helped frame this house and put the studs in. So it's a very cool opportunity for folks to be a part of the whole build and the whole process.
Well, that's incredible. How can someone apply for homeownership, become a volunteer, or send a monetary donation?
The easiest way is to visit our website, which is hfhncc.org. So it's the acronym for our long-winded name of Habitat for Humanity North Central Connecticut. But jump on our website and you can see how to volunteer, how different ways that you can donate. And there's a lot of different ways besides just giving money. You can give stocks, you can give property, you can sign up for legacy giving, where we are listed in your estate. And you can also donate to our restores. So if you're doing some spring cleaning this year and getting out all the home goods and stuff you don't use, getting rid of that couch that's been floating around for a while. You can bring it to the Restore, and those donations, any of the funds raised from sales from the Restore directly come back to our mission.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Good question. There's so much to talk about with Habitat. Obviously, I'm very excited to be at the helm of this organization, and we have just a fantastic team of employees. We were really honored earlier this month to be one of the groups recognized as best places to work.
Wow.
And I think that speaks to the longevity of many of our staff who have been at the organization for over 10, 12 years. I am not an anomaly being somebody who's been there for 18. I am not alone. We love what we do. We're really proud of the work that we're doing. And it's really important to us that we have an opportunity to do more work in Talon County. And I know that sometimes in the valley that's kind of built around the 91, 95 corridors, Talon County can be sort of isolated from that. And so we want people to know that we're here. We want to make a stronger presence here. And especially for those who are looking for home repairs, who are elderly, disabled, veterans, lower income, reach out to us because we'd love the opportunity to help you and make a bigger impact here.
Well, thank you so much, Kris.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Habitat for Humanity of North Central Connecticut has an incredible mission, and to make sure you reach out, you look into the Restore, and just be part of the community that they're building, so that way we can help everyone and serve our entire community together. Thank you.